Hey there, saber friends. I've been saberifying a lot lately, and I came up with a new prototype blade. This one is Viridian, and you might have seen this on Saber Talk, maybe the last episode. I talked about this blade a little bit. I showed it to Harris and Gabe, so you can click on that, go to Saber Talk, and check out what they thought of this blade. But basically, this has been my dream, was to make a Viridian string blade. And I tried a couple times before to mix colors, and I think this way I did it with this blade is the best way so far, which is to actually sandwich multi-layers of LEDs on top of each other. So I can show you a close-up of this blade right here. This is specially made to work with the Crystal Focus LS. That's for light string. That's made by Plector Labs, and the DIN plug down at the bottom here is an 8-pin DIN plug, and that is directed by Plector Labs in the manual for the LS 6.5. This is the actual DIN plug that Plector Labs recommends to use, and so I just wired mine up exactly the way they recommend it, and number identified to the female socket exactly as recommended. So the blades are just interchangeable, you know, so my hilt I can plug in whatever blades I want, and this one only uses 7 of these pins right here. There's actually 8, and the 8th one will be for the Flash on Clash special effects strip. This does not have a Flash on Clash special effects strip, but it obviously does all the effects that a Flash on Clash strip would do, except it's not in a different color. Everything's just run off the main blade. So the main blade here is 3 blades in one, so they're stacked LED, like an LED sandwich, and what is inside that sandwich is on the inside of the sandwich, the roast beef is the 5mm green LED. That's a 45mm lens. No, I'm sorry, 45 degree lens, 5mm LED, and they are pretty small, but even smaller than that are the 3mm. So on top and on the bottom of the 5mm green, so the buns of the sandwich, the bread of the sandwich is cool white LED. So on top of the green, I have cool white LEDs that are in 3mm, so that's a smaller size, and then on the bottom bun is another set of 3mm LEDs that make up this blade. So basically, if I tell you the numbers, it is 108 5mm green LEDs are in here, and then the sandwich consists of 150 each for the bread pieces, what I'm calling the bread. So the top and the bottom slice of bread is the cool white LEDs. That's 150 plus each, so that's 300 LEDs that are cool white, over 300, because there's 2 strips of 150 each. So I hope I'm explaining this right to you guys. A lot of people ask me questions about the string blades and stuff, and it just gets kind of complicated, especially when I'm making like something that that is like a prototype that basically had to alter the rules to like make this. Normally what I like to do is I put my string blades inside a closed cell foam tube, such as a foam tube that's inside this polycarbonate tube underneath the Custom Saber Shop inner fuse. I think it's made out of nylon, so it's an inner diffuser that slides inside a thin-walled or thick-walled blade. You have to order that from the Custom Saber Shop and order the interior part with the exterior part, all come at one shipment, so nothing gets damaged. You know, the nylon tube will be inside your polycarb tube when it arrives, and you just have to cut them both down if you're making your own blade like I've done here. So when I say I had to change the rules to make this blade, like I said, I normally put the foam closed cell tube inside my blades I have to, you know, squeeze the LEDs into that closed cell foam tube. There's not that much room, and there's not that much room inside the 1-inch blade. And then everything has to slide into the blade and get secured at the bottom with the DIN plug, and at the top with your choice of a bullet tip or a rounded tip. I get these at the Custom Saber Shop also. Instead of a closed cell foam tube, which is lying on top of the LEDs, normally I have a foam wrap. So some people use a foam wrap when they're making a light string blade. I prefer the closed cell tube, but this is the first time I actually went with the wrap, and I've subsequently used the wrap maybe one other time, a couple other times. No, this isn't the first time, I'm sorry. I used it for the first time in a 12mm photon blade, so I knew that it could work. So what I did was that sandwich I talked about, where there's a 3mm, a 5mm, and another 3mm set of LEDs, makes a very thick, you know, mass. And I wrapped each of those LEDs in a full shrink tube that runs the entire length of the blade for protection. So it's all sealed together, almost like a vacuum seal, very tight together. All the LEDs are as tight as they can be, and there's 6 segments because you want the scrolling blade. It'll come up and it'll go back down like in the movie. All right, so I'm kind of blabbing a lot. I will plug this into my hilt, and you'll be able to see what a Viridian lightsaber blade would look like with, like I said, 5mm green LEDs in the center, 45-degree viewing angle. Those are like 4-volt green LEDs, and then I combine them with 3.9-volt cool white 3mm, tied them all into each segment, wired each segment up for, like I said, the Plectra Labs crystal focus. That's what I have in this saber here. Okay, this is my Quai Flex. If you want to check the saber out, there's another video probably on the saber from a few years ago. On a string blade, what I have to do is line up my plug here on the inside. Now, if there's a blade you're always going to be putting in your saber, you will get a little mark every time you use your blade retention. You'll put a mark in there, and a lot of times you can line that up, or I'll put like a marker line on some of my blades just to line up like somewhere on the hilt where the blade can, you know, so you don't like kind of fumble with it for too long, because you have to just slide it right into the plug, that's all. This font right here for the sound is, I think it's by Lord Blako, his newest Return of the Jedi font. It's really awesome. This being kind of a green blade, I would say mostly white. You might be able to tell on camera what's going on. It's going to blow it out a little bit on camera, but this is a very, very bright blade. Okay, so what you'll see is that we have kind of a minty green blade. I'll show you, the effects of it igniting and stuff like that, how it comes out of the hilt. So this is a really nice mix. Like I said, you can go look at Saber Talk. I'll put a link somewhere, and you can see that's a really long video, but you can fast forward to where Harris and Gabe comment on this blade a little bit, so you get some other perspective. But what I'm seeing is a pretty nice mixture of white and green to make this Viridian. Now I know the look in the movie is that white core. Everyone's really after the white core, so I'm after that too. I always wanted the white core, and that would mean logically that means putting white LEDs in the center and a color LED around it to get an aura of that color. With this idea for this one, I kind of did the reverse of that, so I thought that maybe reverse logic would work here. I think the result is pretty good. I like the tip on this one. It's really smooth. I tend to prefer the rounded tips with the string blades a lot of the time, depending on what LED I'm using. A lot of times if you have a high shine rate on the lens of the LED is is a lower number. That normally I'd be sanding down, let's say. I could maybe put some of those LEDs unsanded at the tip, get them to shine through the bullet tip really nicely. But a lot of the times, doesn't fill up the bullet tip as much as you would like, even though I remove the mirror from the bullet tip. Sometimes when you're swinging around the saber, you see the tip when it's a bullet tip a little bit easier. So I've been more of a fan of the rounded blade tip lately. So this one doesn't have a different color flash, but it has effects of flash. Turn off the lights for the most part. There's still going to be a couple lights back there. Alright, so really awesome blade. I hope you guys like it. If you like Knights of the Old Republic 2, from a video game from maybe 10 years ago, they had Viridian in the game. You can actually get a crystal and put it in your saber. That always was so awesome to me, because I always liked Viridian, very subtle green color that sometimes in a poster or in a concept art, or like that KOTOR game, you will see Viridian, and that's just a color that I would want if I was a Jedi. I think if a Jedi even cares about color. I'm not sure they do, because they don't seem to care, other than Mace Windu, maybe he had a purple one. It seems like any lightsaber is good enough, but here on Earth we kind of want to choose our color. A lot of people like color changing lightsabers. I like that about the Plector Labs Crystal Focus LS. You can, like I said, take out a blade and put in another blade. So basically I do have a color change saber. I can make any color blade that I want, and even these weird combination colors. And now obviously it's not as easy as tuning RGB LED, but if you like string blades, you can make any color string blade you want, any combination. I have so many ideas. I don't know if you guys have seen my videos of the RGB color changing lightsaber, which is really wacky. There's 2 versions of that. You should check those out if you haven't seen them. It's really wild. There's another idea I have to mix white and blue, similar to this Viridian. So I might try that out. I think we could get a really nice ice blue. I kind of tried ice blue already, and I like it, but it's not the smoothest in person, whereas this Viridian is way smoother than the other combination colors, because like I said in the start of the video, this saber blade has 150 white, then 108 green, then another 150 white. So this blade isn't as lightweight as some of my other blades, because we have a lot of LEDs in here. Super expensive to make. To try out this prototype is a lot of money, because I had to buy over 400 LEDs to just try this experiment out. So this blade, as far as the specs on this works, like I said, off the Plector Labs Crystal Focus LS 7.4 battery setup. This is wired in Serial L Class 2, thanks to Sloth Furnace, Eastern 57, and Irv from Plector Labs to figure out Serial L Class 2, Class 3 for the warmer colors. And so this is in Class 2. They're similar voltages and power draws on these LEDs, which I thought they would work well together. And they do. I've been playing with this for like 3 weeks now, maybe a little longer. And it's one of my favorite blades right now. This really subtle white, almost green color. So that's it. Thanks for checking out my new Viridian blade.